Hey everyone, Dr. Matt here, and today, as you can tell from the title, we're going to be talking about a topic that may make some uncomfortable, but at the same time, it's very important to talk about and address. And that is the case of bedwetting. Now, I'm going to paint a scenario for you guys to imagine here. And as a parent, your child approaches you, they said that they wet the bed, you go to find that the sheets are wet, you got smelly pajamas, and of course, you got one very uncomfortable child. Has this ever happened to you? If that's the case, well, don't feel like you're alone. Actually, it's a lot more common than you think. About 1 in 5 children actually experience bedwetting. So, to kind of put it into perspective, between 18 to 22% of children that are 5 to 8 years old actually experience bedwetting. Now, let's kind of talk about the science of it all. Bedwetting occurs typically when there's improper function of the nervous system. I'll explain. So, just like how we have nerves that allow us to move our body like this, just like how we have nerves to feel the sensations that we have along our arms and body, for example, we also have nerves that innervate our organs, nerves that allow our heart to beat, for our lungs to allow us to breathe. With that being said, we also have nerves that control the bladder. In this case specifically, we have nerves that control the flow of urine within the bladder, and we also have nerves that control the bladder sphincter and regulate that. And typically what that means is the bladder sphincter is almost like the doorway from the bladder on the way out. And to put it simply, one of the nerves that you have along that bladder sphincter is under voluntary control, which basically means you can go when you want to. But you also have another nerve that's associated with that sphincter, which is more so involuntary, meaning think of it almost like as if it's on autopilot, like it's automatic. You don't have to think about it. It just works. It's exactly like your heartbeat. It's not like you can actively think about stopping your heart. Your heart beats involuntarily. Same thing goes for that nerve that regulates that bladder sphincter. Now, that nerve that's involved in voluntary control and that nerve that's involved in involuntary control, those are regulated by your child's nervous system. It keeps them both in balance, both in check. When you have improper function of your central nervous system, one can be more dominant than the other. This is where chiropractic comes into play. Typically, when we find improper function within the central nervous system, we always like to look at the source. And in this case, we like to look at the spine and find possible vertebral subluxations, meaning one side of that vertebrae is favoring to go in one direction over the other. What that can do is right along that nerve root, it can create increased pressure, it can compress or impinge that nerve root. And that's where we have improper function of the central nervous system. Chiropractic care has been shown to remove possible interference of those nerves that are compressed or impinged and allow optimal functionality within your nervous system. And in this case, for the bladder, it creates harmony between that voluntary nerve and that involuntary nerve. If you're currently experiencing this with your child, or if you have any questions about enuresis, bedwetting, please don't hesitate to give us a call. Give us a call at 320-253-5255, and we're more than happy to answer your questions.